You're listening to Glitter Joyride, a Substack podcast by Pavini. Why you keep falling away from your spiritual practice, and it's not what you think. So after I sent out the post last week talking about getting really serious about spiritual discipline, I received this message. Pavini, while I appreciate the sentiment, you made it sound so easy. Like, boom, after 20 years, you just woke up and could practice consistently because you care about the state of your soul. I do care about the state of my soul, so that's not my issue. It's not hard for me to meditate, but I don't have a teacher and I don't know if I'm making any progress. It feels like I keep showing up, but nothing is really happening. They were right, and I bet other people noticed that omission and were unconvinced by how easy I made it sound. So let me say it plainly. I have had many experiences of not practicing, and not all of them are due to resistance. So here are 4 other distinct reasons I've watched people fall away from all kinds of practice, including myself. Number 1, imposter syndrome. I was sitting in a spiritual circle recently when someone shared that they feel like an imposter when they sit at their altar, that they don't feel worthy. And this one is really sneaky because it can masquerade as humility, as in, who am I to ask for this? Who am I to take up space at the altar of something so vast? The practice is right there staring at you, but you can't cross that threshold because some part of you believes you haven't earned it. Number 2, the gap. When I was training in Aikido, this goblin showed up every class. I'm never going to get this. It's taking too long. It's so hard. So, when starting anything new, there is a gap between where you are and where you long to be. And from that starting point, there is a long learning curve ahead. And fear and impatience turn up together, at least for me. Failing again and again as you learn a new thing, it just sucks. Stephen McCraney says the master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. And yes, that's true that a practice is challenging, but the gap is even more challenging to face, and it can be enough to turn you from your discipline. Number 3, comparing yourself to others. And this was my second Aikido goblin. Everyone else is so much better than me. I would look around at people whose bodies already knew things mine was still fumbling towards. The clean throws, the graceful takedowns. I would be sore after each class, but honestly, it was my ego that hurt more than my body. And after a year, I gave up because I couldn't take the ego pain. That was 10 years ago, which, as it turns out, is how long it takes to get skillful at Aikido. And so if I had been able to hack the comparing mind, I could have been good by now. And here's the thing that I learned: 10 years is going to pass regardless of whether or not you practice. Comparing to others who are better at that thing than you, either because of their talent or the time they've already invested, is going to take you out every time. Number 4, not knowing if it's working. And this is the one that the reader named, and so I don't want to skip past it. You show up, you sit, you light the candle, you say the prayer, you move through the sequence, and then what? Nothing seems to happen. There's no visions, no clarity, no obvious sign that any of it is being received by the divine or that it's working. And this particular ache, when your sincere effort meets apparent silence, is one of the loneliest places on a spiritual path. And in my experience, it's also one of the most fertile. But knowing that intellectually doesn't make the silence less disorienting. And it's exactly what I want to work on in the teaching that I am going to be doing on April 9th. And in my next post, I'm going to explore a few more blocks to your spiritual practice in preparation for the teaching. And in the meantime, if any of these 4 have been living in your body while you listen, it's good to bring them with you to class. And the class is called How to Build a Muscle of Spiritual Discipline. It's a 90-minute live teaching, and you'll learn to identify and work with the top obstacles that block your practice, to clarify the purpose and function of your practice so it actually supports your spiritual goals, to build a rhythm and environment and daily habits that make your practice sustainable, and to show up even when motivation is low without guilt or burnout. So it's Thursday, April 9th, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, all fits, all levels. This is a rare live teaching with me, so I really hope you join. It's pay what you can, and if any of this lands with you, if you long for that consistent connection with the divine, come do that deeper work with me on April 9th, and the link to register is in the show notes.